So it's lunchtime, Monday morning. Well, I guess Monday afternoon now if it's lunchtime. Got all the overflow pipe. We got over an inch of rain Sunday. Let's go check out what the pond looks like. It is a muddy, wet mess down here, but that is why we worked so hard to get all the dirt we could moved last week. So all in all, I think everything went pretty well. Just got to go down here and see what all I can do today. I would like to put the overflow in tomorrow. Let's see how big of a stream we have flowing this morning out of the spring right there. Well, it definitely washed some down in there. It's not walked right there. That looks very, very wet. Oh yeah, got a nice stream flowing here out of the spring this morning, or afternoon, lunchtime, whatever you want to call it. So definitely have some runoff down there in the bottom of the pond. Oh yeah, it's a gooey, wet mess out here. So what I'm probably going to do is hop on the dozer and go ahead and strip the top of this pond dam off. I can strip a couple inches off and that'll pretty well dry this up. And I'll probably go ahead and spread some of that stuff out in the bottom of the pond. And if I get this stripped off enough, what I would like to do is I need that last little bit of clay right there. I need to haul it over there to the corner and put that on the back slope. But let me try blading this off and seeing what it looks like before I attempt to do all that. So I brought the dozer down here in the bottom, just trying to trim that edge out right there. It's not the prettiest in the world by no means, but just getting that clay kind of pulled down. And there's a couple little ridges right here that may possibly, it's like a clay rock, but I think it's more of a clay than anything. But I just kind of capped those in clay just to make sure. Well, there's a little bit of a pile left here that we didn't need for that slope, so I'm gonna take it and just kind of spread it out here in the bottom. And you can watch me take a little video pushing this last little ridge out over here into the edge. So there's about 3.5 feet of water right there on the other side of that little berm right there. So I'm just gonna kind of fill this in right here and see if I can't haul a few loads of clay. loads for today at 2:30. I got, oh, what do I have? Maybe 7 or 8 loads here, if that. Finished cutting this corner out. I need just a little bit more on the slope over there in that corner. So I'm just going to haul it down there and dump it out. And then scoop it up, kind of put it over the edge where the excavator is too wet to get on the slope today with the dozer, unfortunately. So I can't finish grade anything, and it's probably not going to dry out by tomorrow before it rains again the following day. So I'm going to do what I can, patting it down with the excavator, and get the overflow put in tomorrow, and just have to worry about it whenever it dries out. Not the way I want it, but sometimes you just don't have any choices. Alright, let me jump in the truck, go dump this out. Hopefully not drive off the pond dam. Loading and hauling today. So glad we got all that dirt put in place before this rain came. Boy, it would have just made a mess of everything. Well, it has made a mess of everything, but it would have really made a mess of everything. Let's see how well operator Chris can drive the truck today. Give old Barney credit. She has he, she, whatever you want to call it, has done a good job out here and has moved a lot of dirt. Load number 4. So on the first load, I backed down there and I was talking to the camera and not paying attention, and front tire kind of, or the back tire kind of started going off the back slope. I pulled forward and then I started going off the front slope. I was like, alright, let's put the camera down and focus. Don't need to be driving the dump truck off the pond dam. And what it wasn't settling much, but that last lift we put in, it didn't have the truck drive over it, so it mashed it down just a little bit more than the other stuff, because it was just rolled over with the compactor. The rain on it, the truck kind of mashed it down a little bit more, and it started sliding a little bit. I said, let's pay attention before we have a problem. Probably about 3 or 4 more loads and the corner of the pond will be completed. I left that just in case I needed to touch up anything today. So I dumped 6 loads of dirt down the pond dam with the truck. I got, I don't know, 3 or 4 left. I'm just going to track down here and grab them with the excavator and go ahead and work on putting that slope kind of in place, kind of grading it out and patting it down. So I'm hauling topsoil across the pond dam now. Got all my clay put in and bladed off with the dozer, and I ended up transferring that. Well, I might have overloaded the truck and got too close to the edge. Possible. It happens. Well, I'm gonna dig the dirt out, and then I think it'll be all right then. I need the dirt over here on the edge, anyways. It should pull right on out then. Heavy. lot of the weight. I'll climb on out then. We'll leave the weight in the uphill side. In fact, I'm just gonna pull the truck over. Like I can just reach under the bed and pull it up on the bank. It'll be fine and dandy. I'm using the 220, not the 550. That might have been a little bit overkill, plus I can't, the bucket's bigger than the bed. Bed up and get in the truck and pull forward. So this should work. I just kind of do this right here, pull the truck up here where it needs to go. Easy. Like so. Now the front's angled off. I don't really care for that. Let's go see what happens now. It ought to steer right out of that. Let's find out. Like clockwork. Let's see how bad we scratched the bed up. Got a little battle scar, but we won the war. Yeah, I was right here and you can tell where it just got a little soft, but it happens. It'll be all right. Topsoil is down on half the pond dam. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 loads I dumped out. Only went off the dam once. Not too bad. 1 out of 6. Oh, I got on that edge and it just, as soon as you get on that edge, of course I had a Hail Mary load in that truck, so it, yeah, it found it. But all is well. I'm gonna transfer that little pile back right here and jump on the dozer and go ahead and spread that out from there down, because I got to put the overflow in there in the morning, so I can go ahead and trim all that out and be ready to put the overflow in the morning. Then we'll well, ain't no will, I'll load up a few more loads of topsoil and cover this, and this pond will pretty much be done. Well, it is nice and cold this morning. Actually, it's really cold. The pond's completely frozen down there, but got the laser set up, got his 220 warming up, and this morning I'm going to put in the overflow. So I got the grade rod down there checking grades. Of course, it's frozen and won't extend out, so I've got to thaw that out and go ahead and start digging the trench through the top of the pond dam for the overflow pipe. So I'm getting the trench started right here. That's pretty much on grade right there for the new overflow. And I was gonna go straight down the back of the pond dam with the machine, but I think I'm just gonna dig up and then go around and finish that. I think trying to go down that hill, it's pretty steep. Doesn't look that steep on the camera, but it's pretty steep. And I think I put some mud right there. So what I don't wanna do is go down and then all of a sudden get into some mud down there and have a problem, because I got another pipe right there. If that wasn't there, I could shoot on out, but I'm afraid I might get in there and I don't know which way I'd have to go and might smash that pipe. So I'm gonna dig the trench up here and then dig the center out from sitting up here on top of the pond dam. Go ahead and see if I can't get a little video of this before the sun peeps over the trees there, because it's gonna get pretty bright. So what I'm doing now is I've dug the front side and I've dug as far as I can reach down the back slope. And now I've got to connect the two trenches together. And I'm just going to dig it out like this. It's not going to be the prettiest in the world, but it will serve a purpose. And connect the two trenches. And I'm not too worried about it being a little bit big, because once I get it compacted over top of the pipe, I can run the sheep's foot down here and kind of drive over top of it, pack it down. So I'm just going to sit here and kind of get this dug out, stockpile the clay right there to go back over top of the pipe once it's in the trench. And then I will drive down through the woods and come out down there in the bottom to dig the rest of the ditch down there. And I probably should put all that dirt on this side, but then I wouldn't be able to see what I'm doing. The good news is, when you're building a pond, normally you have more dirt, so if you waste a little bit, it's not the end of the world. I can take the big boy over there and go get another scoop, and that would probably fill this whole entire trench in. So I'm trying to dig behind this and then knock that material over into the trench so that I don't fill in what I've already dug and have on grade, because I can't straddle the ditch again. Pull this loose material back just so it doesn't fall in. Shovel and just kind of kick it around and get it exactly to the grade that it needs to be. But it's nice that his machine has a 36-inch bucket on it. It works really good for little stuff like this. Don't have to move so much material out of the way to be able to put the pipe in. Alright, let me finish connecting these two ditches, and then I will go ahead and head down bottom and get the rest of the ditch dug and start putting the pipe in. Should go fairly quickly. Alright, so I got the trench cut through the dam. That was a little bit difficult. It was pretty wet down there in the bottom. Where that other pipe was under the road, but I got the ditch dug down through there, and I've got my pipe here now. I'm going to track down here and set it in place, get it all clamped together, and go ahead and backfill it and get it compacted in. All right, so we got the pipe in the pond dam, and it's going down the slope all the way to the pipe that's going under the road down there. Took 20, 40, 60, almost 80 feet of pipe. We trimmed a little bit off that one. And Dave was going to hold the tee up. We'll go ahead and sprinkle a little bit of dirt around this pipe and get it covered. And then we'll go ahead and compact it in. And then I can bring the compactor over here and run the rest of it over with that. So let's go ahead and put a little dirt around it and cover it up. Back here on the back of the pond dam, trying to pat down all the mud back here. This is the majority of the mud that I dug out from that core trench in the creek. That's why it's so wet. And then that rain the other day just completely made a mess of it. So I'm getting it kind of patted down where it will drain, and we are just going to leave it till summertime and just call it quits while we're ahead here on the grading. But we want to get everything so that, you know, it will drain as good as possible. Go over here and just kind of pat that down a little bit. I'm going to get a little topsoil and push some of that over the edge. But pretty much everything down here from that clay down is topsoil, so I don't really have to come down here and do anything else to it. So kind of drag this down a little bit, knock the humps down. Call it quits. So this dam, I don't know if we're gonna seed and straw it now or not. We may at least throw some grass seed out to maybe hold it. But it's probably just gonna go natural once the leaves fall. It'll kind of cover everything up, and that should kind of establish everything. Grading bucket. Everything's just daggone wet. One day I'm just gonna quit working from like December, end of December till March. Seems like those are the wettest 2 months of the year. Pat this down and then go up there and finish the inside of the pond dam where I've already put out topsoil. Go eat lunch, come back and haul about 4 or 5 loads of topsoil and spread that out, and the pond dam will be completed then. Alright, so I am working on loading topsoil now. Overflow is in. Got the pile of topsoil transferred back that I'm saving, and a little bit more down here. We'll load out 5 or 6 loads, dump it on the pond dam, and then blade it out with the dozer. And then all that's left to do is run down with his 220 and pat the slopes in, because it's too wet for me to get on it with the dozer, which it happens, but it grades it out. It just takes a lot longer. And I'll trim all this out right here, put those stumps in the pond, and then I'm going to go over there and dig some test holes on the other pond site and see how the soil looks over there. He's a little worried that there's some rock over there, so I want to dig some test holes before we fully commit to pond building. I can go and dig about 4 holes about 8 or 10 feet deep and quickly know if the dirt's going to be suitable or not. And if all goes as planned, we got rain coming tomorrow, and then we can build a pond. So I got all the topsoil moved for the pond dam, and while I'm still using the 550, I'm going to pull this bank back and kind of grade this out. I think I can back drag it from there with the dozer and just spread a little bit of loose dirt out up here on the bank. So when I cut this the other day, it was pretty much right at water level, and I want to kind of pull it back just a little bit so when the pond's full, it'll be about 3 or 4 inches higher than the water level when it's full right here at the bank. If not, you'll end up with a swampy, muddy edge. Just taking this dirt and laying it up here on the edge. As big as this machine is, you can actually kind of cut grade with it. Don't get me wrong, you're not going to fine grade with this thing, I don't think. I mean, you could, I guess. You can get it pretty close though. I think the pond came up about 2 or 3 inches overnight just from the groundwater flowing out of the hill, which is pretty impressive. I know it's just a little puddle down there compared to how much it's going to take to fill this whole thing up, but every little bit helps. Alright, I'm going to finish this up, jump on the dozer, and get the plate and everything out. It'll take me about an hour and a half to do all that. Then go dig some test holes and see what kind of dirt we got for the next pond site. Fingers crossed we don't hit any rock, and that project will be a go. Alright, so I was on the dozer, got all the topsoil spread on the pond dam. Got that whole side over there graded out, the mud smeared around best I could. I'm gonna run down here with the 220 real quick and place these stumps in the pond where they need to go, and then slick this bank up. Pretty much what I'm trying to accomplish is not having to get back in the pond. So I'm gonna go over here and place these, and then place those stumps over there and create a little bit of fish habitat. All done. Well, the best I can get it. This stuff is wet. I mean, it is just complete goop. But I got it spread out the best I could. I'm just glad we got all the dirt for this pond dam moved before that last rain, because it just saturated everything. And there doesn't look like much of an end in sight for the rain for the next month. So this pond should fill on up. I got it rough graded out pretty good. We're going to leave it alone. And if he wants me to come back in the springtime, I can come back in. But I mean, all in all, it don't look bad. After a few rains, it'll probably settle down pretty good. But all said and done, we started this pond and it's taken 9 full days to complete. Looking at around 1.5 acres, I would say. I don't think it's quite 1.5 acres. It may be 1.5 acres. It's always deceiving. It's a long ways across there. But between that little ridge and the dam's about 4 feet of water already, at least 3. And it's about 18 feet from top of overflow to that water. So on average, there's about 20 feet of water, everything right here, which is probably one of the deepest ponds that I've built. Top of dam's pushing about 25 feet. You can see with the dozer right there and the back slope. I couldn't get down there. It was just so doggone wet. But all in all, I think that's going to be fine. It's going to probably go natural with leaves anyways. But we're going to throw out some ryegrass just to try to hold this dirt from washing. But I'm tickled to death with it. Like I said, 9 days from start to finish. Today is the 9th day. Got the overflow put in and the topsoil spread. This was somewhere around, oh, how many yards of dirt was it? This is probably close to about 15,000 yards of dirt that this pond dam took with the undercut and everything. It's just so deceiving how much dirt come out of this hole right here. But it was a lot, and I'm gonna go jump on the dozer. We're gonna go over there to the other pond site, dig some test holes, see what the dirt looks like, and give it a yay or a nay if we're gonna move on.